procedure. So there was the just talking about it, then there was removing from the bedroom, and then there was this beating. But he said it was more so in other words, but it was more of a tap type thing. And I thought symbolic, that's the word I'm thinking of, so it was symbolic. And I thought to myself, do you know, that makes sense, because if you just hit them, that'd be the same as everything else. But to do that, suddenly now, the woman, as long as she knows the Quran, she would think to herself, oh, he's told me, he's stopped me from being in the bedroom, and now he's done. That would mean more than if he did hit me. Do you know what I mean? So now, like I say, as an Englishman, the way we brought up, we want to see the bad in some things. But like I say, I think it's general because all religions, so you want to see the bad in something. And I just feel terrible that you've got on both sides of the fence, you've got Muslims that are exaggerating and falsifying things of Christ.
Like what?
Christians.
No, what do we falsify?
I'm not saying you.
No, you said that we Muslims, we are falsifying.
Well, I've heard you saying, I'm not going to get into it now, well, I'm talking ladies,
come on,
I'm talking in common sense. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Excuse me.
Let me finish
you
the
said
ladies
Muslim
first.
falsifying. What are the Muslims falsifying?
What did I say? I said to this lady, there are good and bad in everyone. I'm not saying you, and I'm not saying every Muslim. I'm saying there are some that will take an extreme point and they'll exaggerate an extreme point.
Like what?
I've heard Muslims say that all English women are. I don't want to use the language, tarts.
No.
I'm speaking,
Okay,
you're getting me off the point.
Excuse me.
Anyway, you understand what I'm saying?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran in the second chapter, La ikraha fi din, there is no compulsion in religion. So if a Muslim forces someone to do, another Muslim to do something, that most likely has to do with culture. We cannot deny that there are cultures where men force women to cover their face, to wear niqab. That's, we're not
cultural rather
it's cultural, but
because it's free will.
Yes.
Because we're born and raised in Holland.
So we see ourselves Muslim.
In this country, there's been a bit of trouble in some places of the country with grooming gangs. I don't know if you've heard about it.
Yeah, I heard about
it. And they're often Muslim, but it's more, I think, a cultural thing to do with where they're from as a country. Because in the
and
same,
the social status,
yes, because also we get, if you looked at it, as an example of men abusing younger children, I think that would be more of a white culture. What I'm saying, white, not white, because you'd be white and born in Saudi Arabia. But I would say, if I'm honest, that's more of a problem that our culture has. I don't know why, but if you go okay, I'm not saying illegally on the streets here, but they go to countries where they can legally take young children, and I'd say most of those tend to be white. So, like you said, culture is a big thing, and I think we probably find it quite hard to separate culture
from religion,
especially when you think now that the Muslim religion's gone throughout the world. So you can be born and bred in England, born and bred in Holland, so really now, and the shame this whole world goes to colour of our skin. To me, one thing I believe that
we have to respect each other. That's very important.
Even whatever Islam or Christianity, we go back to Adam and Eve. Now I don't know what colour they were, but I'm saying whatever colour they were, we all come from. So we're all shades of the same colour, and it's only our ignorance that has made us the way we are. And ignorance in time. There are certain things in hadiths that can sound quite bad, but it was written 1400 years ago when people didn't have the knowledge we have now.
I want to say something about it. Every scripture, every sentence in the Quran has a context. And I am not able to open the Quran, pick a verse and put a context on that verse. I have to
we have to follow the hadith because we are not scholars, so we can't explain it.
That would be the difference in Christianity.
Yes.
So we are brought up very much, but we don't do it because a lot of us are too lazy, so we don't read the scriptures. We just listen to what someone has told us, and then we're down to me. So I would say, now in the Bible it often says not to take anything man says, the wisdom of men is nothing. So people talk about your idea of Islamic scholars is different, and chains of narration. I'm not on about that, but in a Christian world, a scholar is just somebody who studied the Bible. Now that can be people that are not Christian, but they've studied the Bible, and we shouldn't, as Christians, put any
the Bible as a scholar.
most people that go to universities, Bible university, theological universities, you don't have to be a Christian to go to them and get a degree in it.
But that's also saying you need a scholar to interpret what you read in the Quran.
Except because we are not
So you mean
scholars.
and because you're not a scholar, you can't interpret
Yeah, but
what
the
it
scholars
says
go to
there.
reference
We can
how the Prophet
interpret
Muhammad understood it.
but not.
It's not about your understanding.
So what I was
scholar means?
I mean, a scholar is more understanding than you are then.
before
He understands more.
Studied 10, 20 years.
Dictionary of what a
If
scholar
you don't
is.
can
So a scholar would be anyone that's
And because he has studied, he knows more than you.
in the English language. You could be a
Like a
scholar in
doctor,
physics.
he studied
Scholarly,
medicine.
just
But he's a human being, he has an understanding, and he understands in his particular way.
Education.
All human beings are unique, can't they?
Level of
You have to go
education.
back to the understanding of how the Prophet understood
someone who
it.
comes
Otherwise,
from-
But that
his
depends on
companions,
your
that's
instructor.
why it has to go back to the basics.
What you
It
specialise
has to go
in.
back to
But it
the
depends on your
authentic
instructor.
sources. You cannot bring up a hadith,
See,
and there are a lot of Christians out there that pick up a hadith and understand it.
But Muhammad, he lived
What's the definition?
He lived in Mecca.
1,000 years ago.
Yes, 1400 years.
He was shaped and formed.
Yes, yes, but everything that the Prophet ﷺ was narrated. You know something called science of hadith?
Okay,
But Muhammad
You know
was
something called science of hadith?
Sorry?
Science
would
of
you say
hadith.
there are people that know more about it
You're aware of
than
that?
you?
You don't know.
So
You don't know many things. Right. So basically, when you narrate a hadith, it's not about just the hadith itself. You know, the blatant look of it and
also, I
say,
believe
I
that
explain it in that certain order. No, it
can
doesn't
be
work that way.
an
What you have to do is, when you get the
Quran long
hadith,
enough,
you
and all the
understand it upon
different
how the Prophet
aspects. I mean, the whole idea of
his
hadith
companions
is
and the righteous
whole
predecessors that follow the Prophet understood
great
it.
learning.
So you
There's no way I
implement
can
these
genuinely talk
hadith
about hadith.
according to their understanding, because they were. Don't forget the Prophet ﷺ, who was the close circle around.
No, but I'll give you mine.
They were his companions. Yeah? So his companions, they understood it very well, the way it should have been understood. Yeah?
So there's no argument you're having with everybody else.
Was amongst them. Basically. So when he was delivering the message, they understood it. So he had the time. If they understood it wrong, or they understood it right, which is the angle, he had the opportunity to say, no, it's not that way.
Learning.
So everything that they implemented was correct. So you go back to their understanding. You don't come in today and say, oh, we're modern Muslims, we have to understand it according to what this so-and-so said. If the scholar does not reference authentic sources, then it's not reliable. Not everyone that claims that scholar is a scholar.
You say when Muhammad came back,
Do you think he would believe what this scholar said? Was that in the message that he gave them
because when you hear those scholars, they reference the hadith and they reference understanding, and they even say something called the athar. The athar basically is what happened in a certain scenario which was narrated from the Prophet. Because the chain of narration is something which is very detailed. That's why I said something called science of hadith.
I said they would be the scholars.
It kind of examines the narrators, and according to that examination, you can decide on. You can basically come to the conclusion on how this hadith should be understood.
You can come to the conclusion.
Not your own conclusion, but how they implemented it.
But you need a scholar to...
Right.
That's why we have scholars. But the scholars, they study and understand it.
Yeah.
Not today, like you. I'm not going to tell you something if I don't have no.
Up in China.
You need
Of course,
Christian who's brought up in
God, listen. The principle is God would not leave us misled. Would not leave us without the truth.
No, I don't think
The truth has to be there to grasp it.
But wouldn't God lead you on the right path then?
Of course, if you pray to God, God will lead you to the right
But
path.
you need a scholar to
One thing
read.
there, girls, one thing. This man seems to think, would you say I was talking in nice about Islam? Yeah. No way was I trying to be horrible or pointing out. So you think you come in at the wrong point and heard the wrong thing said?
What makes you think that's what...
No, because you said I had no right to talk to them. I was talking about a good half hour about lots of things.
Yeah, please don't get things...
But you did say that. You said you had no right. Your whole conversation was bound.
Yes, but you're coming to the point of like your understanding him according to his understanding. That makes sense. And that's what I'm saying.
I may have come across wrong.
There are many
But I
scholars of
did
Islam
say to you,
around
like I
today.
said to you about the pinnacle pinnacle of your particular
Based on that judgment, based on that small little judgment I made of asking you what the definition of a scholar was, and you did not give me the correct definition.
I did, so I just didn't do it in your way.
It's not my way, my friend. It's not my way. It's the mainstream.
No, but I did mean that, exactly. I didn't explain myself well enough to you. But when, on the electrical engineering side, you understood me perfect. I said to you, there was people that are above you, at the top of their field in knowledge. No, I know. So, I said to you at the time, I said, will you be to a certain level? And I said, then the people that are pinnacles and all that, the best, they would be called scholars. So that's exactly what you're saying. I may not have described it properly in the way you saw, but I meant it properly.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you haven't.
Now, when we go to culture, right? So now you identify as a Muslim, I think. I would identify myself as a Christian. But there are also other things. Like Leighton said,
it's very interesting what you just said. You identify yourself as a Christian. Now, do you follow the scriptures?
Not you physically.
The New Testament, Old Testament, you accept them as Word of God?
Whims and desires to worship God. That's the form of jihad. Other form of jihad is obviously fighting. Yes.
Jesus Christ is who you follow.
Big jihad.
You follow his teachings, right?
Yeah, I would mention that.
Did he ever say to you? Did he ever call you to Christianity? Did he ever say, or any reference in the Bible?
Is there any oversight?
This is my way of life. This is Christianity. I need you to accept it. So therefore, you will now be
the council which Islam to decide what is acceptable.
The scholars define who is
Christianity is not in the Bible.
Not a layman.
Christianity.
A layman cannot define who's a scholar, who's not. For example, you go to any of these top universities, Oxford and stuff. They'll define who's a scholar. You not go there, walk in. Oh, there's the lecture theatre. He's a scholar. He's a scholar. It doesn't work that way.
They've got their own.
My question to you is, within Islam,
Nah, yes.
forgive my ignorance, but everybody, most, let's say, a vast populace within Islam, know the Quran, you get brought up with it, it's your whole life, it's what you base your whole faith upon within family structure. So everybody pretty much knows the Quran from birth. I mean, I believe the first thing you brought is correct me if I'm wrong, is a saying from the Quran, if I'm not mistaken. So pretty much the people know. So what is the difference between a scholar and a layman if everybody knows the Quran? That's my question.
For example, when you go to school, why do you go to school for? You can learn at home.
No, I don't. They're not.
So it's the same thing. You go to the scholars to learn of them. You take of them. How is this deen of Islam being preserved and it is available here today?
You learn any subject.
If you let me speak, I'll let you speak. Come on, man. You have to be honest. So, Islam, how is it preserved in the shape that we see it today? The Prophet peace and blessing be upon him, he carried it, his companions carried it, then his followers carried it. Yeah, they passed it on. So it's been carried by men. Men have protected this religion.
This is my question.
Yeah.
With that passing on, has there been anybody there who has definitively stated what is correct and what is wrong?
Of course.
As in, has there been attempts, has there been... Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah, I know.
That's my question.
The true Islam...
If everyone knows the Quran, if somebody comes and makes...
Are you trying to just come across... Just let me... Sorry, just so I don't get confused. Yeah. So you're trying to say that how is this Islam still preserved today in the sense that it's not diverted to different ideologies or something? Is that your understanding? Is that what you're trying to come across with?
No, my question was... Again,
simplify it. Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
No, it's a very simple question. The point being is within Islam, everybody knows pretty much their understanding of Islam from within this.
Their understanding, I don't like to use these sort of words because we're talking about something that is distinct and that's objective. We're not talking about personal experience, his experience, his understanding. That's irrelevant. Your ideas are irrelevant. We're talking about the actual teaching of Islam. If we stick to the teaching of Islam, then alhamdulillah. But if we're talking about ideas of what, I don't know, Abdullah came within, no. We follow the Prophet ﷺ, his companions, and those who follow him.
So within the structure of Islam, there are people.
These are the people that carry the religion.
There
are some people that divert off, but they don't follow Islam. They've got their own understanding.
And they strictly say that that's not. It's like, that's not Islam.
I mean,
but what's your point? I don't understand.
No, there wasn't a point. I was simply trying to understand where you're coming from.
No, because you must have heard something. You must have had an experience with something. It was just a random question.
No, it was a question because, like you were saying, for example, other people from other faiths coming into Islam and asking questions. So my question is to you: within Islam, those people who are asking those questions, are they kind of strutted off to the side, or are they challenged and shown the right path? That's kind of
obviously the truth is always available. if you want to challenge it, then by all means challenge it, but you'll be defeated. You know, other people will come with different ideologies, but the truth is always available. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But I'm saying historically,
some didn't even think Jesus was God. Right. So now what happened is, the biggest thing you're missing out is that it was only when Rome accepted Christianity as their main religion. After that, that's when the church got together and they did their councils, and that's when they put the doctrine of the Trinity out, because before it was accepted, Rome was killing Christians. So no one could come out and sit in a big meeting to agree on something like that. So it's got nothing to do with 300, 400 years after, it's got to do with when it was accepted. And I do agree with you.
And so do I. I agree with you. So what was happening is, because they couldn't stop Christian, because it was spreading, right? The Romans, they basically
there was one, I don't know, it's not my hot subject, there was one Caesar who, he was in a war and he prayed to God and he won, and that made him say, right, we'll accept it. So there's more in it. But I do agree with what I feel was happened is the Christians at the time,
they exploited the religion.
Yeah, the Christians at the time, then what they did is they've been beaten, they've been killed, they've been harassed all these years, and suddenly their biggest enemy was saying, we love you, we'll accept you. But Rome was a structured thing. They had 100 men, they had one centurion, blah blah blah. So they tried to bring that structure into Christianity, and even now the bishop's hat, the mitre hat, that is exactly the same as what some of the Roman leaders would wear, exactly the same. So what they did is, I'm agreeing with you, they suddenly, people accepted it because it was better than being killed, but then they didn't want it to be like it was, they wanted to control it. So we'll have a pope in charge, we'll have this and this and this.
And also incorporating the Roman pagan beliefs, why people worship God on a Sunday.
Sunday, no.
As we know, came from the Roman era.
No, I don't believe that.
Because the Sabbath day is not on a Sunday.
No, I believe that.
The Sabbath
is on a Saturday. I know the Roman Catholic Church officially changed the day, which is wrong, it's heresy, which should never be done. But, and I agree with you, the Romans, because they had a pagan celebration at Christmas, they adopted that as the day of his birth, so they mixed into the ocean.
Or does it just sit there off?
It doesn't mix though.
So what does it do? It winds its way through the ocean on its own. That's rubbish. Of course it mixes. Eventually it will mix. It will always mix. It may, really. Show me. What, you think that the water from the River Thames goes into the North Sea?
No, we're talking about salty water and...
well, the North Sea is salty water and the Thames is fresh water. So you're telling me that the Thames water from the River Thames goes into the doesn't mix with the North Sea water?
Are you trying to say there's a complete barrier? Is that what you're saying? I wouldn't say there's a complete barrier, but it probably mixes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Not fully mixed. Not fully mixed.
No, but we're trying to say not fully.
Well, I just meet
the line.
Even from a scientific background, that's what
I know what he's saying, that, but I disagree strongly with it.
So you disagree with science? And you came with science earlier.
No, it's not science. It's not water mixes. When currents hit each other, it looks like it doesn't. It's an illusion. Eventually,
there is a line. Even between two seas, which both are salty, but two seas, not only fresh water and salty water. It will mix eventually, but there is a line.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that.
Oh, so sorry, alright, I understand. I thought you were saying mixed.
Ultimately, it will all mix. Water will mix salt water and water will
there
mix.
is a defined line between.
Also salty and
when you can see it, I mean, sailors would have been able to see this long before the Quran was written. When they sailed on the seas, they would have seen rivers going into oceans, and they would have said, "Oh, that's interesting. Look, you can see a kind of line," and that would have been common knowledge amongst sailors. So it's not a miracle as far as I'm concerned.
The Arab was in the desert.
Well, maybe the Arabs were in the desert, but there would have been, there was the Silk Route, there were trading, and there was, people would have talked to each other whether they were literal or not. I think it's a bit of a steep claim to say it's a miracle, but it's a nice story. I get it.
There are different miracles. For example, there is one that Quran promises to Muslims.